Hare Krishna devotees, welcome you all for the Bhagavad Gita class. Let us start with the prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Swati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So hope the screen is visible. I have shared the screen. So we have completed first chapter, shloka number 35. So today we will continue from shloka number 36. Before this we saw that Arjuna was telling that what is the use of this fight and enjoying the kingdom, killing my own people, all my friends, relatives, different family members in this battlefield, and what is it for enjoying the kingdom. The next shloka Arjuna says, Papamevashraye dasman hatvaitan atatainaha tasman na arha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan sabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasyama madhava. So here he is telling that if we kill our own men, swajana, along with all the friends and relatives, if we kill them, then we will incur sin. Papam eva ashraya dasman. And although aggressor, so they have committed violence against us in different ways. They have tried to kill us. But the sons of Dhritarashtra, Swabandhavan, Swajanam hi katam hatva, Sukhinasyama madhava. So we will incur sin. And how can we be happy? By killing our own relatives, brothers, grandfather, teacher. So that was Arjuna's argument. Translation: sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra. What should we gain, O Krishna, the goddess of fortune? So Krishna is addressed here as Madhava. So Madhava is another name of Krishna. The meaning of that is husband of goddess of fortune or Lakshmipati. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So here Arjuna is identifying Dhritarashtra's sons as aggressors, but because they are our own kinsmen, so if we kill them, then sin will overcome us. And also, we will not be able to live happily by killing our own relatives. So that is Arjuna or not fighting this battle. Purport. According to Vedic injunction, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. So there are 6 kinds of aggressors which Prabhupada is mentioning here. A poison giver, somebody who gives poison, and if somebody who sets fire to the house, and one more person is who attacks with deadly weapons. So they are also called an aggressor. 4th one is those who plunders riches. And 5th one is who occupies another's land illegally, someone's land. Then such a person is also called an aggressor. And the 6th one is one who kidnaps a wife. So there are 6 kinds of aggressor mentioned in the Vedic literatures. And the injunction is that such aggressors are at once to be killed and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. So if somebody belongs to these 6 categories, somebody has kidnapped a wife or illegally occupied the land or plunders the riches or steals someone's property or riches or attacks with deadly weapon or sets fire to their house or he gives a poison. So these 6 kinds of aggressor, they can be killed. And if these kind of aggressors are killed, there is no sin in killing such people. So this is the Vedic injunction. In the modern society, the laws are different. We cannot take law into our hand. We have to go with the appropriate authority. But this is the Vedic time when the earth was ruled by kings who used to follow the Vedas and the injunctions given in the Vedas. There are some guidelines for them. If belongs to this category, poison giver, or who has set fire to the house, or attacking with a deadly weapon, or he's plundering all the riches and occupied illegally the land, or kidnapped the wife, then can at once be killed and there will be no sin. And here Arjuna is telling that these are aggressors, atatainaha. But he is thinking that if we kill this kind of aggressor, who are our own men, then sin will come on us. Although if killing aggressor, there is no sin, but they are not ordinary aggressors. They are our own people. Such killing of aggressor is quite befitting for an ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character. And therefore, he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. So another consideration is their his relatives, and also ordinary person. He is saintly by nature. He is a so he wanted to deal with them with that saintly behavior. He didn't wanted to behave with them like any other ordinary person. Generally, saints are they are tolerant, they are forgiving, and Arjuna also, being a devotee, has those qualities. And because of that, he is thinking so much whether to punish them or not. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for a Kshatriya. But somebody who is in the position of a king, he has to give justice to the people. If somebody has done something strong, and he has to punish the wrongdoer. So Kshatriyas, although the Rajarshis, they are saintly, but when giving justice, they should not be gentle or having this kind of attitude. They are supposed to be strong and strict when dealing with wrongdoers. Generally, what happens, they give justice when there is some injustice happen to another person. But generally, devotees, if something happens to them, then they don't take it very seriously. They forgive the person who has done the wrong. But if it is done for others or other devotees, or any blasphemy or something done for the Supreme Lord, then they cannot tolerate. But on personal account, they don't try to retaliate. So that nature is visible here in Arjuna. Because it is done to himself. If it would have been more strong in dealing with such people. But here the injustice happened to himself. So he is showing this behavior of forgiveness and tolerance. But as a Kshatriya, he is not supposed to have this kind of saintliness while dealing with aggressors. Although responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. And being saintly or being gentle does not mean that one is a coward. Here the example is given. Lord Rama was so saintly that people were anxious to live in his kingdom, Ramaraja. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. So Lord Rama was saintly and gentle in his behavior. And people, even now, people talk of Ramaraja. So the kingdom should be like how Lord Rama ruled. The king, Lord Rama, and the kingdom should. So that was the standard of his administration. So although he was saintly, but he never showed any cowardice. So he fought with so many demons, and Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because he kidnapped Rama's wife Sita. So here the 6 kinds of aggressors are mentioned. One of the wife. So Ravana did Mother Sita, wife of Lord Rama. And although Rama was a saintly king, he is the Supreme Lord himself. He is playing the part of a worldly king. But although he was saintly, he did not spare Ravana when he committed this act of kidnapping Lord Rama's wife. Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world. So, although the kings are supposed to be saintly, but against the aggressor, they are supposed to be strong and take necessary action and give them punishment. And also we can see here the different kinds of aggressors who are mentioned. Almost all of them, the Duryodhana and party, the Dhritarashtra's sons, things to Pandavas. So poison giver. So they had Bhima when he was a small child, who sets fire on the house. They tried to kill them by putting fire on the Lakshagraha, and who plunders the riches. So in the gambling match, by way of cheating, so they took away. And also they had occupied the land of the Pandavas, because after coming back from the exile, the Vanavasa, they were supposed to give them back their kingdom, but they did not agree to give back their kingdom. And also they insulted their wife during the gambling match. So almost all these category of whatever aggressors are there, Duryodhana and his brothers, they had committed all these aggressions against the Pandavas. So they were liable to be punished. But still Arjuna is considering whether to fight with them and kill them or not. Saintly nature also, and also because of material attachment to his own family members. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Although these aggressors are mentioned, but here the case is the own family members, they have become aggressors. So this is a special case or special type of aggressors. And because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. So therefore Arjuna is thinking, so whether I should take the serious step of killing the aggressors, as in the case of ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to, for nature of the saintly persons, that the offenses committed against them. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. So for a saintly person, being forgiving is more important than any kind of political emergencies. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion and saintly behavior. Arjuna is considering killing them for own political reasons, because they wanted to have a kingdom. This is Arjuna's thinking, that we want to have a kingdom, and for the going on. So instead of participating in this fight and killing my own people, let me better forgive them on the grounds of dharma and saintly behavior. So this was Arjuna's thinking. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. And what is the outcome? So after the battle, we may win, and we may enjoy this kingdom. But how long we can enjoy? As long as the body is there. The body is temporary. So the kingdom what we are going to enjoy, that is also going to be a temporary happiness. So just for few years of, why should I kill my? So these are the thinking which is going on in Arjuna's mind. After all, kingdoms and pleasure derived therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? So he's thinking that ultimate goal of getting liberated, and into these kind of sinful activities for the sake of kingdom, killing my own people, and risk the salvation or liberation. Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not have to induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. So here Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhava, that you are the husband of goddess of fortune, and goddess of fortune is always auspicious. And now you are asking me to fight this battle and kill my own people, which is kind of a misfortune or unauspicious. So why you being the husband of goddess of fortune is inducing me to fight this battle? Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, his devotees. But the fact is that Krishna any misfortune to anyone, and what to speak of his devotees, whom he loves so much. So as we progress, so Krishna and Arjuna's conversation of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna will realize that he is not able to solve this problem of deciding whether to fight or not. And later on, his surrender, Krishna gives him the spiritual knowledge of. But right now, the mentality of Arjuna is that he is fully confused and he's not able to decide, and he's giving different reasons and logic why not to fight this battle. Next verse. Yadyapi ete na pashyanti lobhopahata chetasah kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradohe cha patakam katham nagneyam asmabihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. So here next Arjuna says that Duryodhana and his brothers and all the other party, so they are overtaken by lobha, they are overtaken by greed. Therefore, they are not able to see that we are going to destroy our own families. Kulakshaya kritam dosham. Yadyapi ete na pashyanti. So they are not able to see because they are overtaken by greed. And they are ready to kill their own friends, their own relatives. And they are not seeing anything wrong in this because they are overtaken by greed. But we are not like these sons of Dhritarashtra. We follow the codes of religion. So they are in ignorance. They are overtaken by greed, ready to fight. But we being followers of dharma, why we should also behave like them? And we know this is not good to kill our own people. Having knowledge of what is right, what is wrong, why we should engage in this battle? Katham nagneyam asmavihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. O Janardana, although these men overtaken by greed see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, with knowledge of the sin, engage in these acts? So here greed means hankering for things beyond our necessity. So I have something, but still I am not happy. I want more than what is actually required. So that is called greed. So here if we see already Duryodhana, they had some king and some land was given for Pandava, which was kind of a waste land. But later on they converted with the blessings of Krishna into very flourishing kingdom. And they could not tolerate that. And they wanted to, being greedy, they wanted to have that kingdom also. And somehow in the gambling match, by ways of cheating, they took over their kingdom of the Pandavas. So that shows the greed of the Duryodhana and party. And after that, it was settled that it should be returned to them when they are back. And after they come back and ask for their lawful kingdom, but he is not. So they are overtaken by greed, not able to see the sin in fighting with own family members, killing own family members. And Arjuna is saying that they are overtaken by greed and they are doing all these things. And but we, with the knowledge of sin, why we should engage in these kind of activities? So this is another argument given by Arjuna. for not fighting this battle. But a Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences, not accept the challenge. It's actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. So there are some obligations for the Kshatriyas. If a Kshatriya is challenged by another Kshatriya that I want to give you a fight, then a Kshatriya cannot refuse. These are some of the obligations. Similarly, if a Kshatriya is challenged by the rival party for a gambling match, then also he cannot refuse. That's how that gambling match takes place. So here they are being challenged for this fight from the Duryodhana and party. And that the effect of this fight is not going to be good, because there will be massacre of the entire families. And they are, but Arjuna, he can realize that what will be the outcome of this battle. And although there is obligation for a Kshatriya, if there is a challenge from another Kshatriya to fight, but considering the consequences, Arjuna is thinking that although I am obliged for this fight, but I will not fight this battle because the outcome is not good. Here Prabhupada mentions that obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. So if the outcome is not good, so then one need not be bound by the obligation in this case. So considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. Next shloka. Kulakshe pranashanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo abhibhavati uta. So next, Arjuna is still further contemplating what will happen if this battle takes place. So then there will be Kulakshaya, which he described in the previous verse. The entire dynasty will be wiped out. And if that happens, if Kulakshaya happens, Pranashanti Kuladharma Sanatanaha. Religious performances, traditions of the Kula with Kulakshaya, even that also. Right. Kulakshaya Pranashanti Kuladharma Sanatanaha. And the result will be Dharme Nashte Kulam Kritsnam Adharma Abhibhavati Uta. So if the Dharma is lost, then it will be filled by Adharma. So if Kula Dharma is lost, then the future generations in that particular family, they will all become irreligious, because the elderly members of the family will be killed and they will not be able to guide the younger members of the family. They will not be under the care of elders. They will be misguided, and all the religious traditions of the Kula will get destroyed and the people will become irreligious. This is another reason given by Arjuna that fighting this battle is not good. All these things are going to happen if this war takes place. Translation: with the destruction of dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligious practice. Purport: in the system of the Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help family grow properly and attain spiritual. So what are these Kula Dharma or the religious traditions? What are they meant for? So that the members of the family, they grow properly. And so that is the main purpose of the religious traditions. And the elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family. And generally these are called as samskaras, Dashavida samskaras, where different religious ceremonies are performed and spiritual values are imparted. And these are called purificatory processes. And they begin from birth and up to death. There are different samskaras. Just like Garbhadana samskara before birth. And Upanayana, Namakarana. Like that, there are different purificatory process. It's called samskara. Samskara means samskarana or purifying. So they purify the conditioned soul and give them the right direction. What is the aim of life and how to attain that. So in the family traditions, these things are passed from the elderly members to the younger generations. But on the death of the elder members, so if there is an untimely death of the elderly members and if the younger generations, if they are left without such guidance, such family may stop and the remaining younger family members religious habits and thereby chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. So practically we see in Kali Yuga, the present modern generation, they don't follow the process of samskara or the family traditions are there, because nowadays people are more scientific, and if they are not given proper logical reasoning and understanding of what all these different practices are there, why they are done, then the whole system also, the education system and the political system, they are all making them atheists only, non-believers. So the result will be they will develop irreligious habits. Just like in schools, for nutrition, they give eggs to children. And it's a state policy that everybody should be given eggs. And according to Vedic standards, it comes under the category of meat eating. It's a sinful activity. And because there are no spiritual values, and in Kali Yuga, all these things are lost. So people develop irreligious habits. They don't make any distinction between what is not supposed to be eaten, what are the consequences we eat, how it is having effect, what kind of generations we are going to. So these kind of consequences will happen if the Kula Dharma or the religious practices which are given in the Vedic literatures with the purpose of elevating a living entity who has come into the human form of life to spiritual life, spiritual consciousness, because in all other forms of life, they don't follow any religion. They have no understanding of who is God, who am I, what is the goal of life. Only in the human form of life, the living entity can develop these qualities and get liberated and go back to the spiritual world, become free from all this cycle of repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. So if that culture is lost, then they start religious habits. And we can see in the modern society, in the Indian society, most of the people, they have the religious and they are indulging in all kinds of irreligious practices, mainly the 4 pillars of sinful life: meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. So Arjuna could foresee if the family, if they are slain, and the younger members will be without protection, and these kind of consequences will be there. So for that reason also, he was thinking that we should not fight this battle and kill the elder members of the family. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. Next shloka. Adharmabhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyah. Strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankara. The next reasoning he gives, adharma abhibhavat. So here he said that people will indulge in irreligious practices. If the kula dharma is lost, dharme nashte kulam krishnam adharma abhibhavati uta. So adharma abhibhavat. So if the irreligion increases, pradushyanti kulastriyaha, then the women will become corrupt. And strisu dushtasu varshneya jayante varna sankaraha. And if the woman become degraded, then it gives rise to unwanted population called as varna sankara. Translation: when irreligion, O Krishna, the woman of the family become corrupt. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted purport. Population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. So, how the society can be peaceful? If the people who are taking birth, if they are with good qualities, then naturally the whole population will be of good qualities, and there will be peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in the society. If the living entities who are taking birth, human beings, if they are of demoniac nature, then automatically there will be no peace, no prosperity, and no spiritual values in the society. So what kind of people are born? That plays a very important role in the overall peace and prosperity of the society. Therefore, all these religious principles, as we discussed, that the samskaras, it begins even before begetting the child. Samskara, where the samskara is performed to invite a good soul into the womb. And if these things are not followed, then the people who take birth, they will be of irreligious behavior, and also the atmosphere, everything around them. If there are no these cultural values and spiritual values present in the family or in, and automatically those who take birth also indulge in irreligious activities, and which will result in not being a peaceful society. And we see there are quarrels everywhere on the and between the nations. For even small things, there will be quarrels and fights and wars. So all this because the population of Kali Yuga, they are not of godly qualities, and also there is no system of training them in these godly qualities. The Varnashrama religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. So the Varnashrama system was so designed that the good population will prevail in the society. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. So, how children can, similarly, women can also be misled. And those who are unscrupulous men, they can misuse soft nature of the woman and abuse and corrupt the women, which will give rise to unwanted population called as Varna Sankara. Therefore, how we take care of children, similarly, the Vedic society used to take care of women also, protecting from all these undesirable elements in the society. So the women were already always under the protection of father or husband or son, just like the example of Kunti Maharani. Although she was so qualified, but she always remained under the protection of uh, their children after the death of her husband. So that was the of maintaining the chastity of the woman for producing good population in the society. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activity should always engage them and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashrama system. Now, we should also understand that as we progress, we'll understand that we are not, we are the souls which are inside the body. And now I would have got a body of a man or a woman or an animal or a bird. Next life, it may change. I may something else. I may get a different body. So this external dress, either man or woman, that is a temporary. Eternally, I am spirit soul and I have my own form, spiritual form. But now that form is covered by these material forms, which is sometime man, sometime woman, sometime animal, sometime bird, sometime aquatics. There are 84 lakh species. And each form has got its own advantages and disadvantages. Generally, the body of a woman is considered that they are emotionally, the men can manipulate women emotionally. And therefore, they are always kept under the protection. This is one weakness of the women species, that they can be easily misled and manipulated. Therefore, they are always kept under the protection of a male member of the society. And it is not kind of exploitation. It is just like children, we don't give them freedom. We give them, we keep them always under protection. They are always under the watch. Similarly, women is kept under the protection of the either a father or a husband or a son. And if that protection is not there, then that unscrupulous men will misguide the women, and they may lose their chastity, which will give rise to unwanted population in the society. That the peace and prosperity, good population in the society. So that way, women play a very important role in producing good citizens in the society. And for that, the Varnashrama system, they are engaged in different religious activities so that they grow spiritually, they develop spiritual consciousness, and the men are expected to be followers of the Vedic principles and become great devotees. And a devotee will have all good qualities. So men are expected to become great devotees, and women are expected to remain chaste, good devotee husband. The combination will produce good children. Then automatically the population will be good and there will be peace and prosperity in the society. So this is the whole scheme of the Varnashrama system. So there is a responsibility on both. The men, they are supposed to be good devotees, and the women, they are supposed to be chaste. And in Kali Yuga, we see that both the things are not there. Majority of the population, men, they are also not having the good qualities, and the women also, they are also not chaste. Especially we see in the modern age, especially the Western world. And the same thing is being imitated in the, and the result is the population is not having divine qualities. So on the failure of such Varnashrama dharma, naturally, the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So all the problems what we are facing in the society is because of not having divine qualities. And if we trace back, the root of that will be this free mixing of men and women, and adultery, and not having spiritual values. So that is the cause of all the problems in the society. If both men and women are trained to be devotees and trained to be chaste to each other and understand the purpose of life, and knowing that what we have got now is temporary, and we have to use this body for our liberation, for getting out of this cycle of repetition of birth and death. If these things are trained, then even now the society can be changed. So we will stop here today. If there are any questions or revision we can do. Anybody has got any questions? Can we summarize what all we learned today? You can unmute and tell the points. So aggressors, can somebody tell who are the 6 kinds of aggressors? Krishna, is my voice audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. 6 kinds of aggressors. Can somebody tell who are the 6 kinds of aggressors?
6 kind of aggressor. இது சொல்றாரா? காமா, குரோதா, லோபா, மோகா, மதா, மத்சரியா. அது சொல்றாரா? 6. காமா, குரோதா, லோபா, மோகா, அதாமா?
அல்ல இதா இருக்குமா? 6 இது இந்த ஃபயர் வைக்கிறது, தீக்குள் அது 5 தான.
ஓ 6 aggressors. கரெக்ட். இத சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தார்ல பிரபு. வீட்டை எரிக்கிறது.
அது எப்படி சொல்றீங்க? பாய்சன் கிவிங்.
Burning the house.
Burn.
One to burn the burning. Poisoning.
சொல்ல தெரியாது எனக்கு, எழுதி போடு சொல்றேன்.
ஒண்ணு வீடு எரிக்கிறது தான்.
அப்புறம் ஃபீடிங் பாய்சன். அப்புறம் பொம்பளைங்களுக்கு இதுல போடு தம்பி, மெசேஜ்ல போட்டா.
சொல்லுங்க, ஒண்ணுனா சொல்லுங்க.
Okay, somebody can help them.
சாட்ல சொல்றவங்க ஹெல்ப் பண்ண சொல்றாங்க. அப்போ சாட் ஓபன் பண்ணி பாருங்க.
So poison giver, setting fire to the house, attacking with deadly weapons, plundering the riches, occupying others' land, and kidnapping one's wife. So these are the 6 aggressors. Okay. So anybody would like to add anything to today's points what we have discussed? Otherwise, we will end our session. It's already 9:20. So we'll connect again in our next session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.